Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life process video. In this video, I'm going into 2016 and I'm finishing my very last week. I thought that I was 100% done, but when I looked through it, because I was going to do a walkthrough for you, I realized I still had the week from a week in a life that I had yet to complete. So I decided to tackle that. I don't know why, for whatever reason, it seems very daunting. Although now that I say it, I believe it's because there are so many photos taken that week and it's just so hard to figure out how to get them all in. So this is what I've decided, because I actually do have a separate album for Week in the Life. I have bought Allie's Edwards kit for the past couple of years, and I've finished 0 of those albums, which I have a goal to finish, but I'm not worried because I actually have all of my journaling. I've taken notes, and I have actually all of my photos printed out and put into the album. I just need to finish it off, adding journaling or embellishments or spreads or, whatever it is. So I am almost there. But putting it into my project life is a completely different thing, right? It's like how to fit it all in. So 2 things I decided to do. One, I decided to pick one photo every day that I thought best represented that day and, gave an overall feel for the week. So I tried to do, something different on Monday and something different on Tuesday, or maybe different times of the day. And just so in the 4x6 spots, I just did one photo, kind of highlight that day. And then I decided to do an insert, and I got one of those Studio Calico 9x12 inserts that had the 3x3 photos or spots that you could put 3x3 photos in. And there's actually 24 that you can use. So I decided to do 3 photos per day. So that made 21 photos. And then I had an extra 3 that I could play around with and, play with pattern papers or any embellishments that I may want to add in there. So that's what I've decided to do. I dipped into my Week in the Life kits that I had. Now, like I said, I'm not 100% done with any of my kits. And so I was really leery about this stuff that I was going to use, but I thought that I'd pull out some stuff that I thought for sure that I wouldn't use in the album and decide to use here. So one of those things is this rub-on set. So this came in one of the kits, and I apologize, I don't remember which year. I don't think they're available to purchase anyway, but I'm sorry, I can't remember which year. In case you have the kits, just go ahead and look through them. So I wanted to add something very simple to the photos that said, this is Monday or this is Tuesday. So I just decided to add the rub-ons. There's actually these wood veneer days of the week that I wanted to use, but I thought for sure that I'd use them in my Week in the Life album. So I decided to use these rub-ons instead. So I'm just easily, I'm putting these in random places. So I decided to add them to the center, or I'm adding them to the outside. I decided to really stagger them so that they would all look a little bit different. I was thinking maybe, I'd either put them all in the center or that I would stagger them. And the reason why I stagger them is because some of the centers I thought that they would get lost in. And I thought that it would be a lot easier to put it on the edge, or maybe it covered someone's face or something. So that's why I decided to just go ahead and do that. And then I just staggered the rest of them. And the reason why I decided to cut them out is because those rub-ons were pretty sticky, and kind of right when I touched it to the photo, it stuck on, and I wasn't able, I didn't want to wreck any of the other rub-ons because they were sticking on. So I decided to cut them out. They actually were pretty close to the other rub-ons. To the other ones. I thought maybe I would wreck the circles, but I was able to cut them out without a problem. So that was nice. And I actually really loved just the simplicity of it, and that it just added a little something to the photo. And of course, I loved the circles there. I think I added a few more circles in. Well, you can see the title card there that I found ways to add circles into the spread that you'll see coming up. So this title card, I think this title card actually came from a kit from Allie Edwards, one of her day in the life kits that I don't typically use. I have done the day in the life with her before, but it seems like because I do my 12 of 12 project, I don't really do the day in the life with her, although sometimes I will take the pictures, but I don't do like a separate piece. I will just always put them into my project life. All right, so this is the insert, and I do apologize that when my video cut off, I think I actually turned it off for some reason. I forgot to turn it back on. So when I was putting all my photos into the spots and trying to arrange them, you guys missed that part. So I apologize. That number 7 came also from one of Allie Edwards' Week in the Life. In fact, if you want to know where I got any of my embellishments this time, it was from the Week in the Life. So just a heads up there. That's where I got all of the cards and all of the embellishments for this. That 7 wasn't fitting in perfectly. It kept wanting to move around. And so I just added a little bit of adhesive. And luckily, you could not see it in the back at all. So I lucked out. I was happy to be able to use more of those chipboards on this spread as well. This wood veneer piece I actually really loved. I think this came with one of her very first Week in the Life kits that I ever bought, or maybe that she ever put together. I don't know how long she's been doing it. She used it in her album on like a 3x8 insert, and I actually did the same on mine as well. I really loved the way she used it, so I thought that this might be a really great use for it as well. Something that you can't actually see is that wood veneer is pretty thin, and it did break before, but because it's wood, it fits together really nicely, and you can't even tell, especially now that I'm adding tape. And the reason why I'm doing it again is because I felt like I wanted to tape it on a little bit closer to the inside. If I was using a page protector that I could cut up a little, I could add excess to the edge, I probably would have done that, but I am just using a 9x12 insert for that. So now I'm looking through some of the cards to see if there's, I want to add some journaling. So I'm trying to look through the cards and see if there's anything that will work. And one of the things that I decided to do was make my own journaling cards. I was debating about going all the way across doing a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday card. And I decided not to do that. Mostly because I'm going to have a ton more journaling in my Week in the Life album. So I just went ahead and I decided I wasn't going to do all the way across every day, but I wanted to do a few. So I kind of looked at the days that I thought would be good to add. And I have this Studio Calico stamp set that I got. I decided to try their stamp kits, and I've decided that I actually don't like them. And it's not because I don't think the stamps are great. It's because I think the stamps are more tailored towards stampers and not necessarily project lifers. And I'm not a huge stamper, so I'm not going to I'm not going to get the subscription, but I am actually glad that I had these stamps for this particular spread. And I'll definitely use those days of the week stamps on other projects because I think that they're really great, and I like that they look kind of handwritten. But in this particular situation, these 3x4 cards that I made, I did something very similar that I did in week 5 from 2017, that process video. I took a stamp and I masked off an area, and then I just stamped it on a diagonal. So I did something very similar, and I can't remember if I actually worked on this spread first or that one. But whatever the case, I did virtually the same technique. So it's such a great way to use your stamps is to do repeating stamps, and definitely something I want to keep doing a lot more of is using the stamps that I have to make more cards. So that one I decided to mix it up and put the stamping on the bottom. So what you're seeing right now is just an idea of some of the notes I took. These are digital files that I got from Edwards. I printed, they're actually a 6x8 size, so they'll fit in my Week in the Life album when it's done. And that's how I took notes over the week. So that's why I'm not stressed about my album not getting done, or that my Week in the Life or the Project Life portion was not finished as well. So now I'm just trying to debate about more stories that I want to add. So I definitely don't just want to do a rundown of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I wanted to really highlight some extra stories from that week. And one of the things was some conversations. And that's one of the sections that come with that digital file from Edwards, where it says specifically like what you overheard. And so I wanted to add a few conversations. And instead of writing it out, which I could have easily done or printed on the computer, I decided, why not grab my typewriter? I feel like I haven't used it near enough as I've wanted to. I think it can be really intimidating, because you can make mistakes. I also think that my typewriter is not awesome for spacing. I feel like I'm using that spacer, which is that arm that I keep pushing in. And I don't think that it works very well. I think that sometimes it gets single spacing and then sometimes it does double spacing. And so it's frustrating at times. So anyways, I am figuring it out, but I definitely do not want that to be the reason why I'm not using it. So I definitely want to use it some more. So if you guys have any tips and tricks, I would love to hear them. One of the things that I have learned over time is each tick that's in that ruler is basically a letter. So sometimes when I want something to be centered, I will count it, from the center out. So if that makes sense. So anyways, that's just one thing that I've learned, and I got to figure out my spacing. Then I'll probably be happy about using it a little bit more. All right. So then I just went through and looked at my notes, and I'm adding some journaling. Now in this portion, you guys, I am so sorry that the video is blurry. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I accidentally hit my camera, but rookie mistake. When I put my typewriter away and came back, I forgot to look just to make sure everything was in the right spot and everything was focused. So I apologize for that. I know that's kind of annoying to watch a video that isn't focused, but I promise in the end, it comes back in focus. So one of the other things that I decided to do is I just grabbed over these embellishments. I'm using, I'm kind of looking at the colors that are in that title card and then colors that are in my photos. And I pulled out some yellow dots, and I think you can't see them very well, but I think I used some greenish dots on the Monday card as well. And then I decided not to use the Friday and decided to use this list instead. And I'm just writing down, I can't remember if these were like little highlights, or actually I think this was a to-do list. So what I ended up doing is just going through and looking at the things that I did that week and then anticipating what, would have been on my to-do list. So I thought that was a great thing to add, and a great story to tell from that week as well. So I could have definitely added that to my album, but I decided just to put it in my project life. And then I'm just taking this one last card and adding a little bit of journaling, and then trying to look one more time at the spread to see if there's anything else I want to add. And at this point, I felt done. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I want to add a little bit more of those rub-ons to my insert, just to tie it all together, just to tie the insert with my full spread. So I decided to go ahead and do that. So one of them, it had the days of the week, and then if you can see right there, it says today, and then it had a small one that said go, and then another small one that said do. So I think that I'm putting on the one that says do right now. And I'm just looking for photos that I thought would obviously go, with the sentiment do. And then I'm trying to also space them out a little bit more So not all the embellishments are on, the front page, or not all the embellishments are together. So you can see that I kind of try and mix it up, and you'll see that I end up moving some things around as well, some of the photos around, just to, I don't know. I'm trying to get a feel. I think I was trying to move the embellishment around a little bit more, but I also am just trying to get a feel for what I'm going for. Like, I don't like to put big groups of, a photo that has a lot of people and then another photo that has a lot of people together. Like, I kind of like to space those out where one's up close and one's far away, kind of a thing. So those are some of the thoughts that are going through my head. So what happened at this point is I went ahead and I looked at my album and I realized, oh my gosh, like I have some inserts that I want to use, like my 12 of 12. Now, if I had known about my 12 of 12 project, I don't know if I would have done that 3x3 or that 9x12 insert, or I maybe would have done it a little bit different. I don't know that I love that it's squares and then more squares. Maybe I would have done like a 9x12 insert with 3x4s. So anyway, I just, as a reminder to me to go ahead and look at what I have on my album before I go ahead and get started. So anyways, if you want to hear more about my 12x12 project that I do, I've actually talked about it in a couple of videos that I've done just recently. You can find more on my website at amygretchen.com/12 of 12 project. So I will leave a link in that if you want to hear more about that. Basically, it's a day in the life, and it just so happened that it coincided with week in the life. So it was fun that they were together. I was also a little bummed that they were together because I don't like to combine the two. But it's not a big deal. So like I said, if you want to hear more about that, you can definitely check out my blog. All right, you guys, so this is how I handled my week in the life in my project life. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I will definitely get to them. If you would like to see more project life process videos from me, please hit subscribe so you can get updated. And of course, if you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up. All right, you guys, we will catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.